Hello, everyone. My name is Adib Kazi, and welcome to my presentation on aviation safety. So a quick short story of why I chose this project is simply because growing up in a household where both of my parents who worked in the airline industry would often take me to the airport to watch the airplanes take off and land. And that is where my fascination of the aviation industry ever grew since then. I remember one day having lunch with my dad while watching airplanes take off and land. I asked him, why do I see many deadly air accidents all the time? He responded and said, most accidents are caused by the smallest of errors. So in today's presentation, we'll be taking a deep dive to have some better understanding on how we can improve aviation safety moving forward. Here's a quick agenda for today's presentation. I'll be going over the summary, the data dictionary, the KPIs that I use in my final dashboard, have some better understanding by taking a look at the insights and seeing the suggestions in how we can improve aviation safety. In 2006, the National Transportation Safety Board reported the lowest rate in history of only 1.1 fatalities per million commercial flights worldwide. However, there is a challenge, and the challenge is that these big airliners and aircraft manufacturers prioritize their own profit over improving aviation safety. Government leaders play a very crucial role in promoting aviation safety by implementing stricter safety regulations, investing in new technologies, as well as ensuring that these training programs are up to date so that the cabin crews are well versed if such situations do arise. Now, I was able to perform my data modeling by creating a relation with my main table airplane data set with my calendar table in which I use DAX to perform my time analysis. I also created 3 other tables with their respective calculated measures and certain key point indicators to be used in my dashboard to have some better understanding when looking at the aviation safety data. So the first thing for me was to create my KPI. As you can see, I have some of the KPIs here: crashes year to year, fatalities year to year, fatalities over crashes year to year, as well as total accidents. These are some of the KPIs that we are going to take a look at because it really illustrates the overall performance of this project. Now, in my final dashboard, you can see that I have all the KPIs on my left side, such as total accident, crashes year to year, even total deceased, fatalities rate, fatalities year to year, as well as fatalities over crashes year to year. I have 2 sub KPIs as well, uh, accidents per month and deceased per month, as well as I have a year slicer at the top right. And I also have 5 visuals to illustrate my findings. The first visual is accidents per year, and it shows all the key KPIs that are being measured. The second visual is a word cloud, which shows the total accidents with the respective aircraft models. The third visual is also similar to the first one, but in this one, we are seeing accidents per month that are caused by the different engine types. The fourth visual is a scatter plot, which shows the total fatalities by the airline operator. The larger and darker the bubble is, that means the higher fatality count has been recorded. And finally, we have a map where we see where the accidents have occurred, as well as the total fatalities that have been recorded. So just by analyzing from this dashboard, I was very impressed to see that crashes year to year was decreasing. Now, in 2008, crashes year to year increased by 1.48%. But in 2009, it decreased by 6.13%. And this is a good thing since our objective is to reduce crashes year to year. And if you take a look at the chart, you can see the blue line, which represents crashes year to year. If you take a look in 2008, it is going downwards. So this is a positive thing, which indicates that we are improving on this aspect. Another positive insight is fatalities year to year. In 2006, fatalities year was at the low was decreased by 3.67%. But in 2005, it skyrocketed to 13.09%. And take a look at the chart. You can see the dark purple line in 2005, it's all the way up. But then in 2006, it decreased. So what was the reason? The reason was that there was aggressive actions that was taken by some big airliners to reduce the total deceased number. In doing so, it played there was a correlation in reducing total deceased number as well as reducing fatality year, which is a good thing because we do not want to see a high fatality number. And this is a good thing as well. Now, after analyzing two positive insights from the dashboard, there were two negative insights as well. And unfortunately, fatalities over crashes year to year was increasing with the piston engine accident. So in 2006, it was decreased by 2.48%. But then in 2007, it increased to 8.71%. And if you take a closer look at the dashboard, in 2007, most of these accidents were happening in South America. So this is a very concerning issue that should be taken into consideration. And I have some recommendations into solving this issue as well. And other negative insight is about Boeing. Now, Boeing and Airbus are two big aircraft manufacturers. But unfortunately, Boeing had 29 more total accidents than Airbus. And the reason why they had a poor track record is because there was a lot of design flaws with their flight instruments. For instance, Turkish Airlines had a crash in which the pilots were reading false altitude number while landing. It was one of the deadliest accidents for Turkish Airlines. So after taking all these insights and analyzing the dashboard, there are some recommendations that we can take into consideration. The first recommendation is that we should invest in the latest technologies. So according to the Civil Aviation Authority, the number of incidents caused by human errors increased by 13.58%. So in order to mitigate that, we should invest in the latest technologies by having artificial intelligence on board. In this case, having AI, it can help in detect potential safety issues before they become accidents, and it will help the pilots reduce the burden on their shoulder. And other suggestion is to improve aviation maintenance. The air safety report indicates that the piston engine had the highest accidents with 2.33 as its final total. And take a look at the chart. You can see that the piston engine is far higher than the turboprop and jet. So the solution will be follow the proper manufacturer maintenance recommendations and use high quality parts and supplies instead of the cheap ones. And finally, the most important, there should be no shortcuts. It's not going to benefit anyone. So Boeing had to pay over $2.5 billion to the victim families for their mistakes due to the design flaws and other Boeing models that were a factor in causing these accidents. So increase the penalty if airliners and manufacturers are not following these safety regulations. By applying these suggestions, we can improve aviation safety and ensure we can make the skies a safer place for all travelers. Thank you for listening.